Hi everybody, it's Whitney from All the Shelves. Today I had a video taken down by YouTube for a community strike. I'm not really sure why it was flagged as offensive material because I was just recommending books and for the most part kind of classical books, so even the books couldn't be seen as objectionable. But anyway, I know these sort of things kind of happen, so while I'm waiting for it to resolve itself, I am going to make a short video recommending some comics that I am reading week to week. I tried to choose comics that were early in their run so that you could maybe go down to your local comic book store and pick up issues 1, 2, and 3. So these are comics that I am reading week to week and I buy the issues individually. The first one that I want to talk about is Pluto Nuh. This is by Jeff Lemire, Emmy Lennox, and Jordi Belair, and the covers are really cool. So here's number 1, here's number 2, and then here's number 3. And there's a fourth person in this group of friends that I'm assuming is going to be on the fourth cover. Actually, I think I saw a preview for the fourth cover that comes out at the end of this month. So this is supposedly just a 4-issue run, although I kind of suspect that they'll continue it. So this is a comic about 4 friends who are interested in superheroes in their city. So they exist in this universe where superheroes are actually fighting crime in the city. Although it's Image Comics, so they can't use the term superheroes since DC and Marvel have trademarked the term superhero. But anyway, there are these super figures in their city and these kids are interested in those characters. And at the same time, there's also at the end of each issue a story about one of the superheroes. So I don't want to give anything away, but the art is beautiful in these, as you can tell by the covers, and the character development is really, really good. I always appreciate when somebody in a comic book looks a little bit different than we are normally used to seeing. And there's a character here that is like continually bullied for being chubby, and I just appreciate those kinds of characteristics in a comic where they don't make it the entire point of the whole comic. It's just one of the characteristics of the character. So I recommend Pluto Nuh. The next comic I want to recommend is called Mystery Girl. This is by Paul Tobin, Alberto J. Albuquerque, and Marissa Louise. There's 3 issues of Mystery Girl out right now. I think the third just barely came out. Here's the cover for the third one. And as you can tell by these covers, it's really awesome. It's about this woman who is able to just solve every mystery that anybody asks her. Basically, she's like omniscient and she knows everything. As long as you ask her a direct question, she can answer it. And you can see how that would maybe inspire enemies and a lot of adventure. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's really, really cool. And the art style is so awesome. First of all, it's an African-American woman protagonist, which is exciting. And also, just the art, the way that humans are represented in it is like a little off-putting, which I love. There's sex and there's like a lot of nudity, but none of it is the kind of nudity you necessarily want to see, which I think is a really interesting way of objectifying a human body, and the way that objectification maybe is not always a bad thing. And the last comic that I want to recommend is called Ringside. There it is. It is by Joe Keatinge, Simon Go, Nick Barber, and Ariana Mayer, I guess. You know, we're all bad with names on YouTube, I've noticed. Anyway, that's issue 1. Here's issue 2. And here's issue 3. So this is a story of a washed up professional wrestler, and you can tell they're taking a lot from like WWE type politics and larger than life characters, and they're exploring like what happens to a guy whose body is completely used up and really who has no other training besides professional wrestling. Like, what is that guy going to do? So it's a little bit different than the other 2. All 3 of my recommendations are Image Comics. I just think Image is doing like some really cool things here. But this one is much more true to life. There isn't like superheroes so far in it. Everybody is within scientific capability. So if you're more interested in that kind of realism take in comic books, this one's a really good one to pick up. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those recommendations. You can go to your comic book store and pick those up. I think they also have them on Comixology, I'm sure. They're really great comics, and I'm going to try and give more comic recommendations for week-to-week purchases because I think it's important to support our local comic book stores. They're really cool. So I will work on getting my other video up and running, and in the meantime, you can leave me comments about the comics that you're reading week to week. I would love to hear more recommendations. There's more than I can possibly read, so I need some help narrowing it down. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye.